So as a physician, I'm going to make a very bold statement. What we're doing here is medicine disguised as wellness because of the way our healthcare system is set up. Most supplements have a huge amount of binders, fillers, color, and preservatives. And it's actually those building up in the body because the body's wisdom says, this is not a food. I don't know what to do with this. This is a preservative. I'll just put it to the side and take care of it later.
If there is an abnormal intestinal lining, any vitamins, any minerals, they go undigested, unabsorbed. So that it is just a waste. So this is where our technology works in our formulations.
IBS is more of a psychosomatic condition. As I said, people who have stress, who have weak digestion, and we have seen improvements as less as 30 days. People ask us that what is the one food ingredient that you would recommend for anyone with IBS? Most common complication we've seen 50% of the people is diabetic neuropathy. And people normally have only one option, which is Gabapentin, which is not really a solution. It is a temporary fix.
A topic that is important for a lot of people that talk about longevity, and that is the gut-brain beauty triangle. With me here is our chief scientist, Dr. Vijay. I call him Dr. Kamath, Dr. Vijay. And Dr. Lula, who I also call Dr. Abhishek. He is our clinical director. And I'm Dr. Bhaswati, your medical director at Live Your Best Life. We're going to talk for a bit about how the gut and the brain are connected and how, when they are connected, it shows up as beauty. Dr. Lula, do you want to start us off with some cases?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the most common conditions that we see, about 10 to 25% of people in the US have an acid reflux. About 8 to 15% of people have IBS. And these are not only because of the food and diet that you have. These can also be because of stress. Because in ancient traditions, we believe that any condition can have multiple reasons, or hetu, as you have it on the bags. One is dietary lifestyle, but second is most important is stress. So what we see is that this is a two-way stream, the gut-brain axis, which I was speaking earlier. Those who have anxiety, stress, are way more susceptible to have conditions like an acid reflux or IBS, and the vice versa. We have seen people who have anxiety, depression can get IBS, and people who have chronic gut issues. So we have seen that about 75% of people who have gut issues are more susceptible to landing into depression. So this is a two-way stream, and which is not spoken about by conventional medicine. And here's why it's very important to understand that our body is one. We look at it as separate individual organs, but we don't know that. It is one body. Similar, we have the gut-skin axis. You almost have heard about gut-brain axis, but there's something called the gut-skin axis. The basic between the gut-brain and the gut-skin axis is gut microbe dysbiosis. Whenever you have either stress or you have a faulty lifestyle, you are sleeping late, getting up late, you're not eating right, not eating freshly cooked foods, the gut dysbiosis happens. And whenever the bad bacteria, I'm putting in very simple words, bad goes more than the good, that is where inflammation sets in. So anyone with any chronic conditions, could be acne, could be psoriasis, eczema, the first step to do is address the gut.
So when you have a patient that comes in with skin problems, you don't just ask about their skin like a dermatologist would, right? You ask them about their gut?
Absolutely. The skin is a manifestation of a health. If you're healthy from within, you'll have great growing skin and great hair. So as we discussed earlier about hair, the same is for skin. The first thing that we do is we don't give anything external topical application because that's going to give you a temporary quick fix. We try to identify what is the reason for the inflammation. And the first step that we do is analyze the gut, see if that could be a reason. For example, a lot of people who don't go to the toilet every day, have chronic constipation, have a higher tendency to have eczema. And there are studies to back this. So the first step what we do is try to correct the digestive fire and try to reduce the inflammation for any condition of the skin.
So can you connect that gut with beauty then?
Absolutely. So, aging or be any sort of skin conditions are all because of the gut, as I said. So, beauty lies in the hands of the eyes of the beholder. So, aging, what we see is things like fine lines, smile lines. This is all okay. But when people have certain types of pigmentation, those who are, example, like a lot of the menopausal women, as you were speaking, you see them having chloasma, melasma. This is not only external, we need to first set right the digestion.
And so we also know that collagen and the skin that is taut, like you were talking about wrinkles, that needs to get fed, right? So we talk about collagen and oils that we put on the body. What does Ayurveda or what do different holistic medicines say to put on the skin for beauty?
External application, as I
I'm
said.
trying to get you to ghee.
Yes. No, as I said, external application is just a fraction of it. Good skin starts from within internally. For example, those who have an increase in metabolism, who have increase in Ayurveda, we call it as a pitta energy, which is body heat, we first correct that. So, as you said, that ghee is very good. We have Tiktaka Ghrita, which basically is a lot of bitter compounds like neem, which not only purify the gut, they also help in skin and help in natural collagen production. So you don't need external collagen; it's internally, can be produced. And I think Dr. Kamath can add more to that.
That's right. So I just did a podcast last week and I mentioned that I'm 60 and she said, oh my gosh, what skin products do you use? And I told her I use ghee. I basically take the ghee in my kitchen, I put a little in a jam jar and I keep it by my bedside and I put it on my skin. It's my eye cream, my face cream, my night cream. And so we have ghee and we talked about it in the last panel discussion as well. But Dr. Kamath has developed several ghees, and we do have some samples if you're interested. Dr. Kamath, can you tell us about our different ghees that we would use for the gut or for beauty?
Yes, I will give you a briefing about the gut formulations, that how they work. When Dr. Abhishek was talking about the bitter compounds, particularly the catechins and other components that go as bitter compounds, they work on correcting the gut at its root. They work on stimulating the L cells, which inversely, they work on improving the GLP levels in the body, which are required for reducing the ectopic fat, cleansing the body. It will have more of the detox effect on the body. So that is important. So to restore and to protect the bitter compounds so that they are delivered in the last part of the intestine, we need to protect the active principles. If these active principles are not protected when they are consumed in raw form, they don't reach the last part of the gut. That is where our science comes in. We develop micro-encapsulation of these bitter compounds using healthy fats like the ghee that we use. There is a patented technology that we have developed in-house wherein these bitter compounds are enveloped with plant starches like I previously told, and they are made to deliver to the part where they are targeted for, so that the stomach lining, the intestinal lining are corrected. If there is an abnormal intestinal lining, anything you pop up, any vitamins, any minerals, they go undigested, unabsorbed. So it is just a waste. So this is where our technology works in our formulations. We have developed 5 different variants of the medicated ghee right now, the micro-encapsulated powders. They cover a wide range of ailments and also help in the well-being. We have the Indukanta Plus for the gut balance. We have the Tiktaka for the detoxification. We have the Guguru for the inflammation. And we have the Kshirabala oil powder for the nerve strength. so on. So we
And
are
not just
going-
nerve strength, it actually repairs nerves. So, as a physician, I started talking with Dr. Lula about the Kshirabala that we have developed. Now, this is an ancient Ayurvedic formulation. And he said, we just got the results back from a patient who had diabetic neuropathy. And Dr. Kamath has developed this. A capsule is this big and it has powder inside of it, right? When it's micro-encapsulated, it goes into the walls of the cells. And the nerves were actually regenerating in the person's neuropathy. The numbness and tingling had gone away. And he was so excited that day. And then we've continued testing with patients. And we're getting ready actually for a clinical study in this country that we're just putting together now. The medicines have come in from Dr. Kamath's lab, and we'll be giving those out to patients. But imagine this nerve regeneration that's happening. I know as a physician that the tingling and the numbness is a big part of diabetes, and the doctors will generally give Gabapentin, and that kind of makes people feel funny. There's a lot of side effects to it. The Kshirabala, how soon does it rejuvenate the nerves?
It's a long process, but we can see significant improvement of assimilation and uptake by the body
In how long?
immediately.
Immediately means how many days?
Uh, just a few days of consuming, you'll start seeing the changes in the.
I think, Dr. Lula, you can talk about one of the case studies. I think you said 10 days.
So normally what happens is in diabetes, one of the most common complications we've seen 50% of the people is diabetic neuropathy. And people normally have only one option, which is gabapentin, which is not really a solution. It is a temporary fix. So with our Kshirabala, we actually have studied it with and without. So people who are on gabapentin, they were able to taper off the gabapentin in a couple of weeks. And those who had it recently, we could get improvement as close as 10 days.
What could be
There
more
was a reduction.
beautiful than that, right? To rejuvenate your nerves. So we talked about 4 of them. I think I didn't let you finish about the 5th one. So Indukantam was to improve your digestive fire. Gugulu was for improving inflammation. The 3rd one was the Tiktaka was for, go ahead.
For the Tiktaka was for the detox skin. Kshirabala is the oil micro-encapsulation. Phala is for the reproductive health. You already were
Yeah, for
discussing on that.
infertility cases that we've seen. It's
It is for
amazing.
the reproductive health.
Would you like to talk just for a moment about the gut-brain beauty triangle and the wellness components of beauty? So Nikhila has been formulating with Dr. Kamath several formulations, not just for hair and skin that we've talked about, but wellness from the inside out. And so she and I always say that beauty on the outside comes from beauty on the inside.
Yeah, thank you very much for including me in this talk. Yes, the gut-brain beauty, I do understand the beauty has to be from inside out, but we also know that externally being beautiful is also a different thing and always an addition. So we have formulated certain oils, which like massage oils, and certain packs like body scrubs, body wraps, which kind of help you to have a wonderful skin, a wonderful effect for your hair and skin and your body, entire body. It not just gives you a toned, elastic skin from outside, but it helps in lymphatic drainage and it reduces stress, the cortisol buildup that is there inside your body, and helps you calm down as well. So we actually give this as a ritual for at least weekly once. If you can do for like full body, that is wonderful. Maybe you can take it as weekend ritual to rejuvenation. And if you say you don't have time to do a full massage, self-massage, that's perfectly fine. You can just massage the major joints of your body, your face, your arms, your legs. Even that is enough for us. We have different scrubs, which are wonderful herbs that kind of rejuvenate your skin from within. The herbs like manjishta, it is one of the awesome herb which kind of gives the even toneness of your skin and it helps to slow down the aging process, the wrinkle formation. We have gotukola, we have multiple potent herbs in it which help to reduce the skin wrinkling and improves the elasticity of the skin. The same for the hair as well. And if you have any questions regarding the external beauty part of it, then you are welcome to discuss it with me. Thank you.
So external beauty also relates to internal beauty from our embryology. When you were in your mother's womb, the gut actually was part of your outside and folded inward and became the tube that connects inside. It's called your food tube. And that is so important. Dr. Abhishek runs our programs that have to do with the gut. And we, all of us, all four of us doctors, really, really emphasize the gut. So it's not just the acid reflux that we started with. I'd love it if you could talk about some of the other gut conditions, because that is the root of health.
Absolutely. At LYBL, we've got a lot of success in cases of IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, and IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease. Now, there is a difference between the two. For a common person, an IBS is more of a psychosomatic condition. As I said, people who have stress, who have weak digestion, and we have seen improvements as less as 30 days. So people ask us that what is the one food ingredient that you would recommend for anyone with IBS? I would say pomegranate is really good, and we have certain supplements made with pomegranate. We also have a certain other supplements which will help in not just arresting the symptoms, but also eliminating the root cause. So we have a programs which focus on diet. We have an elimination diet. So if someone has a weak digestion, we first avoid those foods which are difficult to digest, and then we gradually, over a period of few months, reintroduce the foods. So IBS, we see amazing results for folks for less than a month. And for IBD, which is a little different, it's an inflammatory autoimmune conditions. This normally takes time because there's no answer. And most people in conventional medicines are put on immunosuppressants throughout their life. What we have seen in a few of the case studies, I can maybe give you an example. We have had a lot of teenagers, a lot of young adults who are unable to gain weight. They have multiple frequent bowel movements a day, and also have a lot of trouble in terms of bloating. They have discomfort in abdomen. We see a reduction in symptoms of bloating and increase in appetite as less as 30 days.
It's important that we get to them while they're still young, because if they don't gain the weight, their gut over time will also age much faster, and then they won't be able to absorb when they get older.
Absolutely. So when the gut is optimum, there is absorption of nutrients. And a lot of patients of IBD, you see that there are a lot of deficiencies, like vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiencies. So once we correct that in a month, we see that the deficiency is automatically coming less. And then we see regular bowel movements in about 2 to 3 months. And the inflammatory markers. For example, we have fecal calprotectin. We have seen a lot of our users who had thousands, and it's now come down to 100.
The number was in the thousands.
The numbers.
Which means there's high inflammation in the body
Yes.
and in the gut. And then it comes down within months. And most people who take Humira or these immunosuppressive drugs, it takes many, many months for those numbers to come down.
Absolutely. And then what we do is that gradually, as they start doing well, we see weight gain, we see them growing, we see that they are asymptomatic and they're feeling well. Then we ask their doctors to reduce their dose of any of the immunosuppressants that they're on. So we see this specifically in a lot of kids nowadays because of the food that we eat, of the highly processed foods, high sugar foods, and I see that this is a problem which we need to address.
So as a physician, I'm going to make a very bold statement. What we're doing here is medicine disguised as wellness because of the way our healthcare system is set up. So we call them supplements, but they're actually ancient formulations that in India are legal medicines, but we have to call them supplements here. And because I've been prescribing supplements for years alongside my prescription pad, one of the things that I have discovered, which is a very sad truth, is that while we love the fact that people are empowered to buy supplements on their own from the, the pharmacy, the drugstore, the anywhere and everywhere that has a health section. The problem with the supplements is not the active ingredient. Most supplements have a huge amount of binders, fillers, color, and preservatives. And it's actually those building up in the body because the body's wisdom says, this is not a food. I don't know what to do with this. This is a preservative. I'll just put it to the side and take care of it later. And as that side builds up, it's like newspapers that you don't throw away because you should read them, and then you didn't read them, and then they're on your coffee table, and then they're under your coffee table, and then they're behind the couch, and the entire living room. You've seen hoarders that have a lot of junk that they keep. The preservatives and the binders and the fillers become like that. And when you have a really great molecule, but it has to be kept stable with all of that, and people are taking cereal bowls of of supplements, of preservatives as well, every morning, they are building up that stuff, that gunk. So what we've tried to do is use the minimum amount of product needed to keep our herbs in that form. But the thing is, those herbs grew in nature, right? So we need to use a lot less binder, filler, and the only preservatives we put in are the ones that are absolutely required for import, export, and customs. Everything else Dr. Kamath has devised are just innovative techniques that are actually part of some of the Ayurvedic formulations of how to make the medicine. So I feel confident enough to take them myself, and I don't like taking supplements, not because of the supplement, but because of the preservatives. Many of the patients that I see that have the IBD and the IBS, it's because they've been taking food preservatives, drink preservatives, supplement preservatives, and they put a lot of artificial stuff on their skin, and those preservatives are what are making them age. Do you want to speak to that, either of you?
We have come up with ideas of not using any synthetic preservatives. When you look at most of the liquid shots, powders, or tablets, you see that there is a major chunk of artificial ingredients going into that. That can just be destroying, more destroying than recreating or rejuvenating. So in our research laboratories and in our R&D department where we are working on, we use all plant-based gums and preservatives so that the product is preserved, we extend the shelf life, and the pharmaceutical activity is not negated at all.
And I really love that about these products. And I am a physician that will not recommend things unless I could give them to my mom. So, and I wasn't in the very beginning because I didn't know how they would work in patients. And we've been so pleased. Sachin said at the beginning, it's been nothing short of miraculous, the results we've seen. So do any of you have any questions about the gut-brain axis, beauty? Any questions?
So you think like foods like meat and eggs, are they beneficial for the gut or non-beneficial?
Meat and eggs. Do you want to start?
Yes, that's a great question. So there is no one size fits all. If a person has a good digestion and if you are able to digest meat and eggs, then it's a yes. But let's say someone has a lot of bloating and has issues, with a heartburn and doesn't have a good appetite, we would hold it till we improve your appetite. And once you are able to eat properly, that's when we reintroduce. I would prefer meat and eggs to having any sort of an artificial protein because anything natural is always better. But as I said, there's no one size fits all. It's based on if you are able to digest it.
So Dr. Lula's come from India to America, and I've been having several lunches and dinners with these guys. And they say we don't want to have soy because it's all genetically modified, and I think many of you know that. And even though it's vegetarian, it's full of preservatives. So it's much better to just have egg. So I asked them this morning what they had, and they said, we had scrambled eggs and toast because we don't want to be having the artificial stuff. And so for you guys to get clear on your diet, Dr. Nikhila is here. We're going to get ready to set up the sound bath, but we welcome you to please walk around and interact with the doctors, talk with them. I do want to say that these are the last few hours that we're going to have our doctors here and available for you in person to, whisper all your personal whatever's going on. Gut questions are a big question for all my patients. And what's amazing to me is that most modern medical, I'm also a modern medical doctor, but most MD doctors do not know how to ask questions about the gut, and they don't know how to resolve the difference between bloating, heartburn, constipation, cramping, upper gut cramping versus lower level cramping. And Dr. Lula is an expert at this. So if you have questions about your vitamins and formulations, please talk with Dr. Kamath. And if you have questions about your gut and how to ask questions to yourself, ask Dr. Lula.